Thank you for taking this moment to breathe and to listen to what can change your life forever. My name is Ragnar Zinikas, and I'm the founder of Starpreneurs TV, How to Dominate the Decade talk show, World Women Conference and Awards, creator of Coral Desk, and my mission is to empower through education. I want to thank you who you took time today, because by doing so, you are investing in your personal growth. Congratulations, great job. Keep on doing that. Today, I have this ultimate honor to bring to you an incredible woman from United States of America, specifically from California. Her name is Mandi Dana, and she is an international lifestyle and business coach. And as currently said, she's currently residing in California. And we all know that I was so afraid that maybe she doesn't even have a connection because there are wildfires going on and it's crazy up there. But she showed up and she is in front of you today. So Mandi, give us your answer. Who is Mandi? And tell us your story. Why are you doing what you're doing?
Thank you so much for the honor of being here. I really appreciate your invitation and the honor to be able to serve right now your people here that you're presenting to. Who am I? That's a great question, a very complex question. How did I get here today? You know, for me, the most important thing for me in life is to make an impact and serve. And it's something that I feel like I was born to do. And, you know, I came from a background there was a lot of struggle in my life as a child. And, you know, I formed a lot of beliefs in that period of time. You know, in childhood, we form beliefs that don't necessarily serve us. And we make decisions about our lives based on these moments. And we carry those through our lives. And what happened for me is that I carried some very limiting beliefs, some things that didn't serve me through my life. And I made a lot of decisions. And I came to a turning point in my life when I got divorced. And I really had always been involved in personal development. And but this came to a point where I dove in deep. And in that period of time, I discovered someone who really shifted my perspective. And when that happened, when my eyes opened, because I went through this period where I thought that I would feel really bad forever, and I didn't see a way out of it. And when my perspective began to change, I realized, wow, you know, there's so much I can do for other people. I've always been the type of person that's had a lot of empathy and compassion and taking care of other people. But it was in that moment where I was like, this is what I'm meant to do. I'm meant to coach people. I'm meant to lift other people up and help them relieve their suffering and empower them.
Well, you did very good job. You already talked about your passion and purpose. What was basically my next question, and that is serving people. But what would you say? Also, we know that there's a lot of life coaches and business coaches. But
Yes.
What would you say? What distinguishes you? What makes you different or fascinating that people are coming to you for your advice?
Ooh, that's a good question. Why? I mean, I have a lot of experience. I've done over almost 6,000 hours of coaching, so I know the mind really well. I also walk my talk. I'm constantly educating myself. So it's not like, you know, I get to a certain point and I think I'm done educating myself, because for me, it's really important that I'm growing along with my clients and the people that I'm serving. So I'm always looking to what is the next step of growth? What is the next level for my own life? And that, I think, translates into how I serve others.
It's a great answer. And that leads me to the next one, because we see that I think today there is absolutely no one which can say that nothing has changed in my life the last 6 months. I don't know. I personally don't even know, not just one person that can answer like this. Maybe someone who lives in a deep forest and does not have any clue what's going on. Maybe there are some monks or, or someone that the life is still the same. But what do you see? What shift has gone through the lives of the people that you coach? Like, what are the common challenges that people are facing during this pandemic?
Yeah, so that's a great question. The thing that I see most is fear of the unknown, fear of the uncertainty. That is the biggest challenge, I think, that shows up. That and what's next? How do I reinvent myself? And so I work a lot with that, with people on those particular things. What I'm seeing with people, and in general, like you said, everyone is dealing with change no matter what it is. And some of us are dealing with it on such a higher level, right? I mean, if you're thinking about just here in California, we're dealing with people who are maybe have closed their businesses. Now they're losing their homes because their homes are being burnt down. So there's a massive amount of change happening overall. And again, some people are dealing with it on a higher level. But the one thing that I'm seeing that no matter what is surrender, is that we're all needing to surrender to this unknown and just trust the process. And, I think that a lot of people are certainty driven. A lot of people think, well, they have to know what's next. And it's just how we're wired. And some of us are wired more that way than others. And these are the people that are hitting the most challenges in that need to surrender, because we don't know what tomorrow is going to look like. Really, the truth is we never have known. We just think we know, right? And now the universe is like, no, you actually really don't know. And so it's really giving people a chance to build that muscle of dealing with uncertainty, surrendering to the unknown, creating a new vision, pivoting. So that's what I'm seeing mostly with my clients right now.
That's great, because I think the good thing is that you, more than focusing on challenges, you focused on the opportunities, and that's
Yes.
what I love, because I think all of us should have the same mindset and always focusing on the what I can take from this moment, from this lesson to learn, and how can I make it better. But when working with people, we know that there's a lot of things, and you need to be a very, very good at what you do, because it also trains you a lot. Working with people can be overwhelming and very, very giving at the same time. So what would you say, what is the greatest lesson that you have learned while working with people as a coach?
For myself? Yeah. Greatest lesson I've learned. I would say everybody has a story that will bring you to your knees. Everybody has a story. I think when I first started coaching, on a higher level, on a massive level, like I do, that I don't think I realized how many people had a story, and I was very much more emotionally involved. And I've learned how to feel compassion for someone's story and then help them break out of that story. Because really the biggest distinction between someone who is succeeding or failing is, what are they doing with that story? How are they applying that to their lives? Because some people can take their story and use it as a reason to feel bad and not succeed. And then other people can take their story and use it to empower them. And so that's the key distinction, I think, is what you do with your story and the meaning that you give your story.
That's a very beautiful answer, and thank you for that. And that's why exactly the How to Dominate the Decade was born, because we wanted to bring those untold stories. And as Mandi just said, everybody has the story. So, and it does have the power to change your life that you're watching. So let's get to know Mandi and her program. So tell us about your coaching program and who do you serve?
Well, I have two areas. One is that I work for a company. I work for the #1 personal development company in the world, and I do business and one-on-one coaching and business training. So I have a lot of clients with that company where I'm doing, you know, one-on-one on anything and everything. And it's men, women, it's business training. I work with teams. We're just starting to do mastermind groups. So I'll be leading mastermind groups. Love that. And then with my private business, I'm really just focusing on women, on empowering women, because I just have a real soft spot for that. And I don't get to do as much of that specifically with the job that I have. So I'm launching some programs coming up here for leadership for women. Helping, you know, tap into your femininity, helping to tap into your power, and really taking women from a place of maybe just feeling lost or uncertain to a place of just certainty and direction and empowerment and finding their voice.
That's beautiful, and I'm pretty sure that as our audience is mainly women as well, so be tuned, and let's see what Mandi is bringing on the table. But let's talk about, you briefly touched the topic, and I think us, and especially as women, one of the greatest thing that holds us back, or maybe is something that really stops us to do maybe, or to reach our goals and dreams in life, is our belief system. And we all know that there's different reasons for that, but what would you say that what are the major causes that we have due to the belief system that doesn't really allow us to exceed?
Well, you've heard the quote, whether you believe you can or you can't, it's true. And I find that in coaching, and I found that with myself, is, you know, if you have a limiting belief, if you don't believe that you can, if you don't believe in yourself, then you're not going to be able to, because it's going to impact the amount of potential you tap into. It's going to impact the amount of action you take. And if you're not tapping into action and potential, then you're not getting the results. And it just feeds it. So I think the biggest thing that I find is it's confidence. It's like, you know, belief in their ability to actually do it. You know, whether it's, and then we use a lot of excuses like, oh, I don't have time, or I don't have money, or, you know, those are the surface beliefs, right? But the really always underneath it, it's about belief in your ability to actually do it, whether it be, you know, to actually succeed. And some people are afraid of succeeding, and some people are afraid of failing.
That's very true. And as I said, I see now, as we are reaching this is the 168th interview we see, and I have seen how much it really affects, and how many women particularly are, let's say, victims of their own mind and the belief systems, which is, whether it's our cultural background, whether it's our families, whether it's the way that we have been brought up. There's so many different parts what has been really affecting it, but it's the main reason which really puts the hold on most of the plans or goals or dreams that women have. So that's why I think you have chosen very well tackle the problem that usually is the one why people are not really reaching their potential and living the life that they deserve. But let's talk about the one experience more which you have very intimately, and thank you for sharing that, in a sense that you are single parenting, and I think you have done an incredible job, because it has been a long way, most probably, but what can you say? What would be the biggest takeaway from single parenting? Like, what advice could you say to someone which for some reason has maybe because of the COVID lost their partner, or whatever the thing is that forces us to single parenting. What advice would you give to those people?
Give yourself grace. I think that being a single parent, being a parent in general, comes with a lot of, there's something called mom guilt. And, you never think you're doing enough, but the truth is we are doing enough. And, I think what I've found with parenting, single parenting and parenting in general, but really single parenting, is that we're just capable of so much more than we believe that we are. And I think that's true in general for just human beings. I don't think any of us really, realize how capable that we are. And it's even more magnified as a parent, because you have these human beings that you're responsible for, and it can be scary and it can be overwhelming, and we don't know if we're doing it right. And it's just, you have to just have faith in yourself and give yourself grace for those moments when you don't do it right, or you don't think you're doing it right, because on some level you are, and your kids are getting what they need from you. And they may not be getting what they want from you in the moment, but they're getting what they need from you. And I've learned that not just being a single parent, but being the child of a single parent, that you go through life and you think, well, they made this mistake, they made that mistake, but their mistakes are actually what makes you who you are. And so if you can think of that when you're raising your kids, that, as a single parent or parent, is that, if you think you've messed up, well, that's just, it's weaved into the dynamics of who that human being is and is going to be, and the impact they're going to make on the world and the way that they're going to live their lives.
Wow, this was absolutely incredible answer. And you, who you are watching, I think you should go back to this video, especially if you are already a parent, because that will make so much sense. Because I think every single one of us has been or is there today, because when obviously our circumstances get harder and harder, the harder is also to become a better parent. So go back to this video, take notes, and very soon I will tell you what to do with those notes. But let's move further, and let's talk about if you were be asked tomorrow to write a book, what do you think what that book would be about?
Yeah, I actually have thought about writing a book for a long time, and I think the one subject that really speaks to me is self-love. And because that is the core of a lot of the limiting beliefs that we've talked about during this interview. A lot of that is self-love and trust, and like I said, decisions that we made when we were young about love and life, and just everything that we've carried with us. And that's the kind of unraveling that we do once we get into the personal development world and we start to do the work. It's the unraveling of these beliefs that we've had. And I think for me personally, it's been about figuring out how to honor myself and love myself. That's been the biggest key to me really stepping into my own power. So that would be the subject. And I find that with a lot of my clients as well, is, we aren't as loving to ourselves as we need to be. And, we can be loving to other people, but we're not doing the same for ourselves a lot of times. And so that would be what I would write about.
Wow, I just had a powerful moment of having the sense as I'm looking at the mirror. So that's interesting, because I think I have been dealing with the same thing lately a lot, and I think it also comes from, especially from my case, coming from the previous Soviet Union country, where when I first really understood what honoring yourself means, then I was in a shock. It's like, what
Yes.
have I done for all my life? And that was actually a sort of a turning point, because it was like, everything that I've done, I never looked at myself the same way. Like, it's incredible how we put ourselves, and especially as the second that we become mothers, the second where we need to take care of someone, we always put ourselves in the last place. And that means that in a lot of places we are not honoring ourselves, and and the whole problem starts from there. So thank you very much for
Yeah.
sharing that with us today. But let's talk about also your involvement in nonprofit. And I know that you have a very special project which is close to your heart. Share that with us.
Yeah, so I'm just starting right now I'm in the planning stage of a nonprofit with a good friend of mine who the core of it is working with women. And it started with her idea, and she invited me to be a part of it, but it's abused women, actually. And that could be emotionally, it could be mentally, but it's really empowering abused women. So we're going to take a portion of our profits from our businesses, and it's going to go directly into that nonprofit.
That's a beautiful course. So I guess that I was wondering to ask, how do you empower people? But now I understand how how you are already doing, and what you will be doing. But what do you think as coaches? What should be our responsible way of empowering someone and empowering their decision making?
Yeah, the biggest thing for me that I do with my clients to empower them is it's really all about reframing and restructuring their beliefs. It's really looking at, well, because a lot of times we have stories and beliefs, and you have to question those beliefs. You have to say to them or to your client or even to yourself at times, is this really true? I don't know if you're familiar with Byron Katie, but her 4 questions that, is this really true? What else could be true? Those are the questions. And really what that does is it causes you to question your belief, and it gives an opening to create a new belief. And so it's all the power of empowering someone is in questions, asking them questions, to get them to see things differently from their own model of the world, from their own perspective. And because we can tell someone all day long what to do, but it's not going to make a difference because it's not coming from them. I mean, it might make a little bit of a difference, but it's not going to stick unless it comes from them.
That's beautiful as well. So what do you think, what the future will bring to you, Mandi, personally and professionally? Because I think the way that you have been working before and now is quite different.
Yes. Well, my daughter's about to go to college. My first is going to college. And then I have, my kids are all 3.5 years start to finish. So in about 3.5 years, I won't have any kids in the house. So life will change a lot. But, there's a big question mark on that, with everything that's going on in the world in terms of day to day. But as for myself, as what I'm building, I have a podcast that I just launched. It's called Elevate, and it's spelled ELOVE with ATE. So it's really about taking these stories of like people's heroes' journeys and and really elevating your life through self-love. And so I'm going to be working on that. I've got these group coaching programs that I'm working on launching in September. So I plan to just grow that side. I'm going to stay with the company I'm with, and continue to work with them and build. And personally, I don't know, in 3.5 years, I might just go off to Europe and live in a vineyard somewhere.
That's a beautiful vision. So we go now to our traditional part of our interview. Can you please share your 3 recommendations how to dominate the decade? But before you do so, you that you're watching, please leave your comment, your questions, and your likes underneath this video, because we are going to take care of them. We will answer all the questions, and we just love to read your ideas, your comments, and your experience on the same topic. But Mandi, what are your 3 recommendations how to dominate the decade?
Thank you. Yeah. So the first recommendation is really about emotional management. It's really about deciding how you want to feel, who you want to be in order to get what you want to have, in order to achieve what you want to achieve and get what you want. And, you know, that's really a muscle that you need to work on. So it's, you know, how do I want to feel? What do I need to focus on? What does my story need to be around that? What is my current story? But it's really about creating a powerful mindset, because that'll get you through anything. It's, you know, the success or failure in anything is about the mindset. And so that would be number 1. Number 2 would be creating a vision. Is, you know, where are you now and where do you want to be? And, you know, again, like we talked about earlier, a lot of people are struggling right now. They're in survival. And sometimes when you're in survival, it's really difficult to dream. It's really difficult to see beyond that survival, beyond just having a place to live and having food on the table, right? But think about, okay, this is only temporary. It may be difficult now, and it may seem like it's going to take a long time, but it's going to pass. It always does, right? This is a struggle, but it's not going to last forever. So create a vision beyond now. Create, like, what is it that you really want? And then, you know, once you've set those intentions, surrender. You got to surrender to the outcome, because things don't always come in the packages. You might set an intention or make a declaration, and those things don't always come in the packages that you think they are going to. A lot of my own experience. Go ahead.
No,
a lot of my own experience.
You froze for a second, so that's why I tried to understand whether you're still here.
I'm here. So yeah, so a lot of my own experience with abundance and manifestation has really been about setting the intention and then letting go of what that looks like, and then waiting for it to come. So you're meeting the universe halfway by creating your vision, setting your intention, and taking action, but you also have to just surrender to what that looks like sometimes.
Well, I think that's the main problem with our mind, no? To give away sort of the control is pretty tricky, even though when we think that we usually go with the flow, but the moment that we think that, oh, we might not have control over that, it becomes tricky. But if someone has now been listening to us and they would be curious to know more about your coaching program and also the nonprofit, how can they contact you? How can they follow you, reach out to you?
Yeah, thank you. So I'm on Instagram. It's the.sweet.life, LYFE. And then I'm also on Facebook at Mandi Dana, Mandi Dana. And so those are the best places. You can also reach me on my email at mandy@mandidana.com. Right now, I'm in the process of redoing my website, so it's not live, but it'll be live within the next month, 30 days. So
that's beautiful. What would be your last message to everybody that took the time today to listen and improve or grow their personal growth, in a sense that what would you recommend?
I would recommend to never stop growing, never stop seeking growth and seeking the next level, because I think so many people think they get to a certain point and they've arrived, and you don't arrive. It's a journey. And, you know, this journey is a beautiful journey, and just keep going and keep giving yourself grace and keep loving yourself and just seeking out the adventure of life.
That's a beautiful recommendation. So you have been watching, and also if you already took my advice and you started to write things down, then the next thing what you need to do with all those notes is not just only write them down, but also take action and speed of implementation. We all know that whatever is not in front of us the next day is also out of our mind. So take action on those notes. By doing so, you can become the hero of your own life because you are able to change your life. And by doing so, you can become the change maker of your own life. But also, you have the power today to change someone else's life. How? By sharing this video. Because we always know that just by clicking one button, someone needs to see it today. And you can be that hero that does that. So become the hero of your own life and someone else's life. I will see you in our next episode. Thank you very much, Mandi, for joining us today. And I hope that the fires will keep away from your place and everything which is going on. And thank you very much for taking the time to join us today and sharing your golden nuggets with our audience. Thank you very much.
Thank you.